Hi, my name's Martine Carroll. Welcome to my Wellness Chronicles, where we will be discussing all things well-being, health and fitness. I'll be bringing you everyday people to discuss their trials, tribulations, and sharing from the heart to maybe help somebody who's feeling stuck in that area. So, without any further ado, let's get into our first episode where you'll hear some surprising correlations between stress, trauma, and weight loss. Let's get into it. I wanted to bring this young lady in today to have a chat about her health journey, and I think that it will be very powerful and help somebody who might be struggling. And I've known this woman for her whole life, not my whole life. So she is my sister who I love dearly, and I give her a hard time. I give her a lot of shit. But she's well able for it. So please welcome Lesley Moran from Nudge People. So, hi, how are you today?
Well, thanks for helping me find my phone. I'm great now.
Yeah, so just before we got Lesley on, she couldn't find her phone, which she quite frequently does, and I'm guilty of that myself. But yeah, so before we get started, Lesley, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do in the space that you work in and how you came to work in this field, and then we'll get on to your health journey.
Okay, well, nudge people are kind of made. What I've learned in life is that people are making it up as they go along, no matter what you do. And I had this long career in corporate recruitment, and I had more in me. And years ago, I became a transformational practitioner. What does that mean? Well, I learned emotional freedom technique and I learned hypnotherapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. And I sort of created my own brand of helping people to achieve the well-being that they really want. And I bring that into Nudge People, but I also help businesses to get their people working really well together. So I do both of those things. Part of it is transformational, and part of it is systems, structure, strategy, that sort of thing. So I work with individuals and businesses, depending on what their needs are. Big toolbox.
I've seen or heard of some of the work that you've done with the businesses and really turned things around. So I just wanted to say congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's amazing. I've also done some personal work with Lesley, which was not an easy thing because, we're family, and some of that was intertwined. But God, I just have to say it's a game changer to get rid of anything that I'm a big believer. If you are not getting the health results you're looking at, whether that's weight loss or gain or fitness or whatever, and you get so far and you're stuck, then there's something inside you that's stopping you. And quite often I will refer people, put the pause on working with me and send them over to Lesley to deal with that stuff because that's not on my pay rate. Yes. So Lesley, let's talk about your journey because with Lesley, well, I'm going to let her tell your story. So here we
Okay.
go.
From a health perspective, I have, ever since I was about 11 and a half years old, struggled with weight for a kickoff. And it was a long struggle, a long, arduous struggle. Can I get a witness? Hallelujah. But it wasn't just that after a while, because you get to sort of that menopausal stage. And what usually happens is all your chickens come home to roost at the same time that you're suddenly feeling these menopausal symptoms. And so you go, oh, it's the menopause, but it actually isn't. But what does happen then is if you haven't been using your body fully, it literally seizes up. And that happened to me. My hips seized up, my knees seized up, my shoulders seized up. And although I do help people with the emotional nexus of that, I just couldn't see how I was seizing up. And it really is a combination of mind and movement. emotions and movement, that sort of thing. And so I've kind of learned that along the way. It was interesting because I was in a marriage for a very, very, very long time. And as things were seizing up, things were getting worse in the marriage, or as things were getting worse in the marriage, things were seizing up. And my job as a natural healer was to make things better. I couldn't get to the core of it because I would be working on my own to do that. It was just the way that it worked out with the person I was married to. So instead, I ended up feeling all the pain in my knees and my hips and my back. I had trouble with my stomach, and I was cycling 80k on a Sunday and working out. Do you think I could lose a goddamn centimeter
I
off my
know.
body?
I know, and I do remember somebody giving you a big lecture about doing too much, and also there was one other issue as well, but I'm going to let
Ah,
you bring that up.
so one of the things that I am guilty of, didn't eat enough. I ate less and less and less because I was getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And as I ate less and less and less, my body got fatter and fatter and fatter. And I couldn't figure it out. And my wonderful, very wise sister here said, Lesley, it's not you.
It's not
And
your
I was,
fault.
not your fault. That's what you said. And I just burst into tears because I was exhausted. And I was so exhausted. And anyway, next minute, cut forward to about April last year. And all my chickens came home to roost. Everything ended. It ended abruptly, and it ended not in a nice way. And I found myself homeless and destitute on my ass in a friend's house, and thank God for my friend. And my sister reminded me after a few months because I couldn't work because I couldn't figure out what had just happened. We have all sorts of things. Even if you do this work, this happens to you. This can happen to
Oh,
anybody.
exactly. It's the same thing with me. Like, the last 3 to 4 years, putting on all this weight, and people, well, but you're a trainer, you're a coach, and like like you, I was doing all the things, and we'll cover this in a minute, but we'll go back to the stress that you were under.
I was
And
under an inordinate amount of stress. Um, my marriage ended suddenly and violently without any warning, and I had no home. And if it wasn't for you actually and my brother, wouldn't even been able to get any furniture out of the place. It was just, it came from nowhere, nothing. But I don't go into too much detail and make myself a victim because I had this wonderful community of people who do what I do who actually swooped on me and helped me. But over the time, I'd say you watched over me and you kept an eye on me and you helped me with my mobility to start with. But within 2 weeks of that ending, all my knee pain disappeared, my hip pain disappeared, my shoulders disappeared. Even as I went through a grieving process, I was started to shed pain and inflammation through my body. Was I doing anything differently? Well, I was struggling, so I was eating very little. And there was this one day when I admitted that to you, and you gave me the talk.
and the look.
And the look. And the look. Um, and so I started, I determined that, this was not, this was just a thing that happened. And I started to heal. I started to eat more. I started to move a bit more. I just feel I move so much better in my body now. Anyway, cut forward to now. In the last few months, somebody else came into my life, but that's not the thing. The thing is, as part of that relationship as it was developing, this person is very food oriented, loves his food, doesn't even gain weight, but loves his food, likes to cook meals, likes to plan meals, likes to be around food. Now, I have, because of my weight issues, avoided food my entire life.
Listen
Food
up,
was the
people.
enemy.
This is key.
Yeah.
Because you might be struggling with maybe trying to lose weight, and you're going to the old thing of, calories in versus calories out, and not taking into consideration other lifestyle factors. So, yeah, I'll let you carry on. I just wanted to break in there and
Yeah.
set it up.
So I found myself in life with somebody who is passionate about food. So I started to cook and I started to eat twice, three times more than I would normally eat in a meal. A meal that I would eat now would have lasted me, I would have made it last 3 or 4 days in the past. And it's healthy, healthy food. He just loves spice. Oh my God, I love this. He loves spicy food. He loves to cook Malaysian and Thai and Chinese and Indian, and so we have started sort of making this part of the relationship that we have, and so food has become a thing for me that I am starting to look forward to. Um, and here's a funny story. So, well, before I get to the funny story, alongside of that, my body started to shrink. My weight, my fat started to just leave my body. And although I sit here um, outwardly a chubby woman, I've actually lost quite a bit of like size, and
Oh,
my clothes
I'm
have
going to
like got,
say truckloads,
yeah,
people. If you had seen a photo of her a short 11 months ago where she was bound up with inflammation and stress,
yeah.
you know, and I said to her yesterday, is it okay to share this? I said to her yesterday, oh my God, your boobs have completely gone because and how can I tell? Because I can see your neck because your boobs were a chin rest. Now I can talk to her like that because she's my sister. I
I
think
don't
that
care.
gives me, I think that gives me a right. But anyway, we had a good laugh about it. That this is just our relationship, guys. So if you're PC and you're offended,
What ifs? So I mean, I'm taking it on, and I'm eating more. But here's a funny thing. This is the funny thing. So yesterday, this lovely man that I've started seeing, who's been an absolute blessing in my life, he dobbed me in to my sister. He said, yeah, you want to know what Lesley gets up to? Yeah, she says, "Do you want some carrot?" She introduced me to caramel corn. Now I eat caramel corn. Well, actually, it's something that I really enjoy, caramel corn, but I don't eat it all the time. He goes, "Yeah, yeah," and then I go to the supermarket and get a packet, and that was going to last a few days. But what does she do? She says to me, "Ah, do you want some caramel corn?" Which means, and I can read her like a book. He says. That means she wanted some too. So there she is, honking into the caramel corn. And he looked at Martine, waiting for her to tell me off. And Martine just sat. And you just went, that's great. Did you enjoy it?
that's the main thing, right?
Because
It's
the
not,
main thing is you're eating more, and I'm really happy about that. So that's wonderful. And you should have treats if you want them.
yeah, absolutely. And in fact, the dialogue yesterday was when she was telling me how much she was eating, and then I was noticing like this is actually quite a significant weight loss. Now we haven't used scales or anything like
No, we
that,
haven't.
but
We haven't. But
but
I've got a
uh,
waist now, and this shirt only came to here. Now it
yeah,
does up.
yeah.
Does up with a bit of cleavage, but
It's
it does
things
up.
like that we're noticing. But anyway, then she's saying, because like, it's been quite a few years that I've been saying you don't eat enough. I've seen sparrows eat more in a lifetime than she would eat in a month. So but then because like we both graduated from sarcasm school with honors. So she
I
says,
think we're professors of sarcasm, if you're honest.
absolutely. So she says, yeah, I'm eating heaps and my clothes are getting looser. And I'm going, oh, freaking really? Whoa, that's a surprise. Oh my gosh. I'm flabbergasted. So she was in fits of laughter, knowing that. But guys, there's a big, strong message there, that nourishing your body, and not just with food, but with
No,
oxytocin, reducing your stress levels. I mean, she was under extreme amounts of stress, putting effort into fixing a marriage, but that only one person was engaged in that process, which was very difficult. And I'm sure there'll be some listeners here that have been through the same thing. Um, so, it's just such a huge thing. And I really am grateful that Lesley agreed to come on and share her story and what's happening to her, because it's pivotal. but yeah, I'll get you to carry on. What other
Well,
things that you're noticing?
well, the main point, just going back there for a minute, is I do this for other people for a living, and I did it for them for a living while I was going through all of that. And so it can happen to anyone, because if you have the best intentions, you put yourself up to being hurt. You sign up for that. It's when you go, well, I will no longer put up with ABC. I reclaim my own self and then the way that I want to live life. I want to figure out who I am. That's when you start to heal. And food is just a part of that. And I know, Martine, you talk a lot about mindset. I reckon you and I could write a book about mindset. By God, it would be funny. Um, it's down to you to let go of whatever it is that you're holding on to that doesn't serve you. And no, and namaste. That's not me begging anyone. It's me saying I let go. I let go of that. This no longer serves me.
I love that. I love that because, sometimes it's not a marriage, it's actually a relationship with yourself that
Mm,
doesn't work. And you have to really do some deep inner work and face that person in the mirror. Like when you go deep, we don't like what we see, but there's such power in letting that go, because sometimes the person that's holding you back is yourself.
yeah, we're
And
scared to look sometimes.
yeah,
Like I'll just share something else since we're like opening the kimono.
it is.
Cheers. Um, Many years ago in my relationship with you, I would not want to tell you what I really thought about things, because you would throw the mirror back on me and I didn't want to see it. So I would feel it and I would want to say it, but I knew that you would find a way to throw the mirror back on me and throw some shade back on me, and I wasn't strong enough to deal with that. That's the sort of thing that people deal with. When we started to do work together, it was the greatest honor, because we cracked open all of that and we just filled the gap with love and trust. We gave each other permission to say our piece. So while you were getting you were healing, because we're sisters, and I probably shouldn't have done it because you shouldn't work with family, but the love and trust was so huge that I could heal on certain aspects as well while I was helping you.
Yeah, it was a
It was
wonderful
pretty awesome.
journey. Not an easy journey. Definitely. In fact, if I can say anything to anyone, usually that's the type of work, is dealing with your, I know it's such an overused word, but there's no other word, so trauma. And trauma, it doesn't have to be a big, huge event either, guys. It can be just something, that really just what you were affected by, and there's no competition with it. It affects everybody
Exactly.
differently.
So trauma is quite often described as a big T trauma or a small T trauma. What is a big T trauma to one person may be a small T trauma to another. And you've only got to watch Married at First Sight to
Oh,
see how people turn small T traumas into big T traumas.
yeah.
Um, so what could be devastating to you could be nothing to someone else, and what could be devastating to someone else could be nothing to you. And so it's about understanding and being present with what really is for you, rather than, oh, I don't want to hurt that person by saying this thing out loud. Well, it's better to say it out loud, shout it from the rooftops. Um, I know that you and I talk about the same, what used to be traumas or now funny stories. We talk about them all the time because that energy's not there anymore. So, and
Yeah.
there's certain energies I'm no longer carrying in my body that I didn't even know I was carrying, and I do that for a living. I didn't even know I was carrying it. You could see it, but I couldn't, because for me, my highest value is love. I lead with love. So I was trying to love everything into being okay.
Yeah, I know that feeling too. But when other people aren't wanting to be loved on, it's very rejecting and
Yeah.
traumatic in its own right. So it's just been an absolute privilege to watch the unfolding of the beautiful lotus flower and continuing to watch it like it's on speed dial. Honestly, it's like and I really wanted to bring Lesley on today because, you know, I talk to people every single day. It's interesting. They want help, but they don't want to reach out because of the shame that might be unleashed, how they feel about their trauma, their little t or their big T. And so we hide away from the world, and the only person that hurts is ourselves.
Well,
And
sometimes we hide away behind our body, which is where you come in, right? So you can't do what you do unless you help somebody to release that as well. Because I know from experience, when you have put me into positions that I haven't done for a long time, I would just lie on the floor and cry. And thank God for you that you are willing to take people into that safe space so that they can cry and they can wail and they can still move their body. I'm not talking about exercise. We're all jazzercise freaks from the 70s, love. And we all did that, and some of the pain might have been from all the stepping, maybe back in the day. But what I love about what you do is you love people back into wellness, and you stand beside them and you make everything okay, because so many people that work with you are so ashamed of their bloody bodies. I was so ashamed and so defensive. Martine will think this, Martine will think that. And you just take it all away. You did that for me, you know, and I said to you, when you said to me, it's not your fault. What did I do? I broke down and cried. What do you mean it's not my fault? It's not my fault that I'm carrying all, because I was carrying the weight of the world.
it was such a relief for you. I remember when you just, I'm going to get a bit teary now, when you just burst into tears when I said that. And to watch you like have that, it was relief. The tears were tears of relief.
Well,
And
all my life I was told, even mum, when we were young, she said, all you have to do is eat yogurt. All you have to, you're getting awful fat. All you have to do is eat yogurt and then go
yes,
and see
our
doctors.
mother
And
was a qualified nutritionist.
alcoholic. um, God love your mother. um, but then I go and see doctors and they go, what's easy? It's energy in, energy out. Well, that in itself is absolute bullshit, because you're carrying your trauma in your body. The body keeps the score, and the body holds all of your tension, stress, anxiety, trauma, everything, PTSD, it all sits in the body. And through learning to work with you, you learn to move the body, and as you move the body, it gets permission to come out.
Yeah,
And
you release a lot of there's certain processes. I mean, you've got to allow the time. Everybody
yeah,
wants results and they want them last week. They don't stop and think about actually how long has it taken you to get into your current shape, whatever that is. It may not be overweight, but it might be pain riddled, or you know, not being able to move. And it takes time to get there. It also takes time, and not as much, by the way, but you do have to invest that time and be patient and trust the process to reverse that or to move. I don't ever like to say to people, I want to get back to this size. I want to get back to what I did then, because we can't ever go back, can we? We can only move forward. So it's about looking at how you want it to be. And Lesley uses this all the time. You know, what is it that you do want? And let's move forward to a new version of what you are right now.
yeah, yeah. For the first time in my life, I get called a runt every day. That's what he calls me, a runt. I've manifested this person who just sees me, which is really, really cool. And it doesn't make me want to change a thing. It doesn't make me want to change a thing. It makes me just want to be me.
We all want to be accepted for who we are and how we are, and how we are now. And really, I mean, and
Starts
it's
with us.
lovely that yeah, it starts with you. If you cannot love and accept yourself right now, then you can't let anybody else in that's going to. And Lesley did the work when things went tits up last April, and her community, what would you call them? You know,
The
all the
EFT community, the coaching community. Yeah.
yeah. So the coaching community just like all stepped in, and I've never seen anyone do so much transformational work in such a short period of time. I did nearly drown. She stayed for a short time with me. I did nearly drown. It's like the hooker falls in here, but that's okay.
There was crying and screaming and wailing.
Oh, we all do it. We all do it.
Well,
But
you've got to, if you're gonna do any of the work, whether it be physical, emotional, or a combination of both, you've got to allow yourself to fully feel into the pain in your body, fully feel into the stiffness in your body. You told me that so many times, just allow. And emotionally, if you're going through emotional stuff, you absolutely have to fully feel into the emotions that you have, because until you allow them to have voice, to have place, and fold yourself into those emotions, then you're forever going to be swallowing them down, going, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay.
yeah, yeah, it's so true. So it really, the message today is for me is look after you. Do you, boo, and don't worry about anybody else. And
Yeah, the real you, find out who you are.
yeah, find out who you are.
Yeah.
What do you stand for? You know, and that's one of the most helpful things I did with Lesley. Now, what was it? Is it the Harris's assessment that you did with me?
Yeah, so I do a deep dive on behavior using analytics, behavior assessment, and it tells you exactly what your stress behaviors are, and your flip behaviors under stress can be quite alarming to see.
That was eye-opening.
Mm.
Eye-opening.
And from a coaching perspective, if you know that you've got these things, then you can start to see it in your life, and then you can start to address those things. But it's very hard to address anything worthwhile on your own. That's why I come and work with you, because I can't address my mobility issues on my own, because I keep screwing it up. Or yeah, and I'm not talking about a personal trainer, because a personal trainer will go,
I used to be one of those.
yeah. Martine, you're more than a personal trainer. I think you're a transformational trainer. That's what I think. Like
I see a
I
bigger
believe I help
picture.
people transform. You also help people transform.
Yeah.
You do use the physical and the mindset. And then I do the mindset into the spiritual and the emotional. So like that's we're kind of like a family one-stop shop, really, aren't we?
Dynamic duo. And
Yeah.
you know, the work, especially after 40, 45, when you do hit there's an awful lot of and I think it's a good thing, an awful lot of coverage about menopause, but there's a lot of noise out there on the right things to do. And you've got to give the time and see what works for you, because what's right for one person will not be right for the other. And you know, like I've worked with people and I'll get them so far, but when they start self-sabotaging, I've got to say to them, I think you would move forward far more quickly and efficiently if you put a pause on working with me and did some work over here.
And it is work.
Oh, it's work.
It's
It's work,
work.
but it's like anything. It's like when you come to see me and you haven't exercised for a long time. It doesn't matter what we do. I get you moving, it's going to hurt.
Mm.
But most people are in pain anyway. Choose your pain. Do you want pain because you're moving out of being stuck, locked in your body? Or do you want to continue on with the pain that just gets tighter and tighter and more intense? And, you know, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I'll say her name, Dr. Vonda Wright, I think her name is. She's actually an orthopedic surgeon, but she's very much into women's health. And she talks about how women can live 15 years longer than their male counterparts, but the majority of these women that are living 15 years longer are living longer, but in aged care facilities,
yeah, quality.
because they're breaking bones because they haven't got good posture, and stop moving, and bone density and all that stuff, guys, all that stuff. And that is abhorrent to me, which is why here I am, 19, but just turned 63. And I'm still working out. I'm still doing handstands. I just did a 3-day bike ride. There's no way I'm trading in my activewear for a twin set and pearls. Thank you.
You look really weird, the twin set and pearls. Oh, that would be fun. We should put you in one, take some photos. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so if you want to see that, if you want to see an interview of me in a I don't even know where I'd get a twin set from. Do you even know what a twin set is? But anyway, so that is one of the reasons why I continue to do what I do. Most people probably at my stage of life are winding down and looking for retirement. I couldn't think of anything more boring. But so I will continue to work and help people as long as I can. And I think that Lesley, that's how you feel as well, right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not slowing down anytime soon, and I do take all your advice, and I follow the learnings that you share. We we do listen to our bodies, and we do. I personally I do fasting twice a week, because I think it's a healthy thing to do, but it doesn't mean that I miss out on food, because I have myself a good dinner at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, well, hallelujah to eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
if
it's helping
people,
me with clarity and
yeah,
energy.
really?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Also, hydration. Let's not forget that hydration is
Always
key.
have
Check that out.
always have your water with.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I have
always
about
have your
3 or
water
4 of
with you.
these. That's my Herbie tea and my big 750 ml cup. So I just want to thank you, Lesley, for taking the time out today to come and chat to everyone and share. Like, you really did some and sharing. So I really appreciate you. And
Thank
for the
you.
people that are listening, if they are wanting to follow you or get in touch with you, what are your contact details?
Well, I think if within the context that we've been speaking, I have a brand called Nudge Life, and a website called nudgelife.co.nz, and I also have nudgepeople.co.nz. Nudge Life talks more about the transformational life issues. Nudge People is about wellness, well-being, both very similar, but one's more workplace focused.
So what's
So
the one that's workplace focused? That's Nudge People.
Nudge People is workplace focused. Nudge Life is just life issues, including career coaching.
Yeah.
But nudgelife.co.nz, or visit me on Facebook. I have a page, Nudge Life, on Facebook.
Cool. So thanks again, Lesley. I just really, really appreciate your time. I just rang her up so she could find her phone, and then she said, let's do it. So we did it. Just like that.
Martine and I can talk for hours. This has been quite short.
Yeah, it's really short. I'm just mindful that, probably you're allowing me to distract you from something else that you should be doing.
Oh, you know.
Oops.
Okay.
Okay. So thanks again, and we'll be talking very soon.
Talk to you soon.
If you liked that one, remember to like the episode, click the notification button, and subscribe so you'll see more.